Hi there, Tim Bauer here from LiveVideoGuitarLessons.com with a practice tip of the day. This one's for the intermediate player, and this one is a continuation on our series on playing blues progressions with ever larger chords. Last video we covered taking all the major chords that we know, or even just the intervals we play, pulling them out, extrapolating them into major chords, and then last time we focused on turning all those major chords into dominant seventh chords. And today I want to talk about using some extended chords, and we have to do a little bit of theory here. I'm just going to try to kind of sneak it in real quick, but this is important theory that you need to know. We're going to focus on 9th chords today. What extended chords, try to explain these. Extended chords, if you picture 2 octaves of whatever key you're in, let's just pick the key of C. So you have octave 1 here, and then you have octave 2 over here. What the extended chords do, they use the low numbers from the first octave and use the higher numbers from over here. So when you see like a C13 chord, it has notes from over in this octave rather than from in this octave. Okay, so extended chords build cumulatively. Maybe it's easier just to say it like this. The definition of a major chord is the first note, the third note, and the fifth note of whatever your root note is. Key of C, the first note of a C scale, C major scale, is C. The third note is E. The fifth note is G. So any combination of C, E, and G is a C major chord. A C7 chord uses the flatted 7th note of that scale. So you have 1, 3, 5 plus the flatted 7th. And just to distinguish it from the actual 7th note of the scale, that would be a C major 7 chord if you use the actual 7th note. The dominant 7th is the flatted 7th. And by the way, that's the only instance where you have one number. In every other instance, the number is only one designation in the scale. Okay, for blues, you're going to want the flatted 7th most of the time. The next chord up in that progression would be a C9 chord. A C9 chord has 1, 3, 5, flat 7, and then you add the 9. The 9, if you think about a major scale, there are only 7 notes in a major scale. So you have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, that's 7. C is the next one, and you could count that as 8. 1 and 8 is the same. 2, which is a D note, and 9 are the same. So, but the 9 is in the higher octave. So when you see a C9 chord, they're telling you to play, not they, but the indication is to play the higher D note instead of the lower one. Doesn't have to be. It's not always that way. That's kind of the idea. So you've seen this chord a million times. This is C add 9. The reason this is C add 9 is because this guitar needs a fret job. There's a little buzzy on that fret, but that's a D note. So what I'm doing, I'm taking my C chord. That's my C. That's 1. That's my E. That's 3. G is 5. 2. D is 9, and G is 5 again. The reason this is add 9 instead of C9 is because the flatted 7th note is not in there. C9 would have the flatted 7th note also. And C9 is this. C add 9 is this. So we'd have to add that B flat note. Okay, so back to the extended chords. C11 is 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 9, and 11. And C13 is 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 9, 11, 13. And if you count that up, you realize that's 7 notes. You can't play 7 notes on a guitar, so you have to start dropping stuff out. But on a piano, you can play all 7 notes, and if you break those out, you realize it's every note of a C scale. So you want to take 1, 3, 5, and flat 7 of the lower octave over here, and then you take the 9, 11, and 13 of the higher octave. And it sounds real nice on piano. If you do them all on the same octave, it sounds awful. It sounds like you dropped a book on the keyboard. So that's the purpose of the extended chords. Okay, back to the blues. All right, so if we take our basic blues progression, and I'm just going to do this quick because I can see I've took 4 minutes to do that, and I probably lost most of you already. But so we'll take let's work in the key of B flat. Okay, so I'm going to make this one chord a B flat 7. I like the 7 sound rather than the 9 for our root chord. So that's 9. One thing you can do from this 9, it's easy to reach up here and grab this 13 over here. It's not a 13 chord, but I'm adding a 13 on top. So you kind of mess around with those. I like the 9. The 9 still has the gritty sound to it, and when you don't play the full 13, it still has a gritty sound because you're skipping a lot of the notes in the middle. Sometimes I will replace the first chord with a 13. 13 chords sound real smooth. This one still sounds good to me in blues. It's a matter of personal taste. That's a 13, but it's not. I mean, this is the way the guitar fingering for the standard 13 chord, but we're only playing 4 notes, so we're leaving a lot of those out. So you can. It still seems to have its blues character because it's mostly upper end stuff. I'm playing my root note, and that's my flat 7, and that one's my 3rd. And that one is my 13. So I'm leaving a lot of stuff out in the middle that gives it that real nice round sound when you're playing all 7 notes on a piano. So blues to me sounds better when it's kind of raw, you know. So it still sounds real. It's a lot sweeter than the 7th chord here, but I still like the sound. So. Anyway, just kind of wanted to run that by. I probably spent too much time explaining the extended chords, but again, that's stuff you need to know. And hopefully you stuck around to the end here. So anyway, thanks for tuning into this practice tip. Kind of experiment around with that. Mix them up, play some dominant 7s, play some straight majors, play some just 5th intervals, play some 13s, try some 11s. The 11s sound too smooth to me, but you know, you might like them. So anyway. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in again tomorrow for another practice tip, and I will see you then. Thanks. Bye.